Hello, I'm Eva Simons, owner of Urban Sweets, which is a specialty wedding cake and sculpted cake company. And while I love what I do for wedding cakes, something that I also find amazing and personally really fulfilling is leading a healthy, active lifestyle. And with that, it's finding ways to enjoy dessert, which I absolutely love, in a healthy fashion. Part of the Food Buzz Taste Featured Publishers program, I actually received in the mail a box of Nature's Pride Country White whole wheat bread and regular hamburger buns and hot dog buns. Normally you think, okay, great, let's have a party. Let's do hamburgers, hot dogs, and I started thinking, well, what can I do with hamburger buns from a dessert standpoint? Always, yes, there's French toast, there are bread puddings, but something that's perfect for summer. When I think summer, I think I want something fast, easy, fruit-oriented that involves no measuring whatsoever and no long prep time in the kitchen. I want to be out by the pool. That being said, I came up with the idea of creating a Parmisu. What's a Parmisu? Parmisu is part Parfait, part Tiramisu, and that's what I'm going to show you today. We are going to work with a plastic cup, and the reason I'm doing this is when you're out by the pool, I don't recommend having glass just because there's the fear of breakage, and with plastic you can get really nice stuff that looks really pretty, but you don't have to worry about it falling and breaking. So the ingredients we're going to use are blueberry jelly, quarter cup of water, less, more. It's really just to add instant coffee to. This is going to mirror the espresso that is normally used in a tiramisu. So we're using instant coffee because it's fast, and I love that. Sliced bananas, and we're using sliced blueberries as well. I like to pair a berry with another fruit item. I think it's nice to have that change in consistency and flavor, the tartness and acidity of the berry with the smooth creaminess of the banana. So I think that's a great pairing. Feel free to change it up, use mango, strawberries, whatever works for you. Then we have the cubed bread that we're using, the hamburger buns. And what I did with this, and I recommend, is pull it out of the bag and leave it out, slice it in half, leave it out overnight, let it get crispy and dry out. The other option, if you want to do it immediately, throw it in the toaster or throw it in the oven. Just make sure it cools down first before you start to use it. Then we're using chocolate chips. We're using some honey. My personal favorite is Kahlua when working with dessert, but feel free to use rum, orange liqueur, whatever flavors work best for you. And we're using a combination of plain yogurt and ricotta, low-fat ricotta. And the reason I'm doing this is I think it's nice. The ricotta really lightens the yogurt, so it's not this heavy, dense yogurt. And the ricotta as well will really lower the tartness level that the plain yogurt has. So it's a really nice way to combine the two while still keeping the calories low, the protein high, and getting in your calcium. So we're going to start. We take our glass and we're going to put breadcrumbs down in the bottom. We just kind of want to fill all the areas with the breadcrumbs. There we go. So I got about 4 in mine. Then we're going to make our instant coffee, aka our espresso mixture. And I'm using 2 packets just because I like when it's a really intense coffee flavor. And the breadcrumbs are mirroring the ladyfingers that are normally used in the traditional tiramisu. So again, this is a great way to keep the calorie level low, not have a lot of sugar, keep it really natural and really flavorful. This can be done with whole wheat bread as well, so that's another option. So I'm just mixing up our coffee concoction. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to grab a brush. So you can either use a pastry brush to put this on or actually pour it over the breadcrumbs. It's really whatever works best for you, especially because this recipe is all about having fun and not measuring and not really worrying about things. It's a low-key, stressless recipe. So feel free to pour it on. You don't want it swimming, but you do want it to get fairly saturated because this is really going to provide the flavor, the major flavor for this. Okay, so we have it well saturated. And then we're going to work with our yogurt ricotta mixture. So what we're going to do is we're going to whisk it together. Again, I didn't measure, I really just took about half of each. You want it to be a 1-to-1 ratio. Whisked it together, it gets a nice light consistency which has the graininess of the ricotta but the lightness of the yogurt, which is fabulous. And we're going to add some of the Kahlua. And again, this is to taste, so whatever works best for you. It starts to turn a little bit brown, which is how you know it's in there. And I can actually start to smell the Kahlua, which is really nice. So that nice Kahlua flavor is coming up. And I'm going to make it fairly intense. So we'll add a little bit more. And ready to go. So after we have the breadcrumbs with the coffee, we are going to put on the layer of the Kahlua infused ricotta yogurt. And you want to cover all the surfaces really well. So now we have breadcrumbs, yogurt, and we're going to do blueberries and chocolate chips as the next layer. So we have blueberries down there. And we'll throw on some chocolate chips. There we go. And then on top of the blueberries and chocolate chips, I'm going to use the blueberry jelly. And I chose to use the blueberry jelly because it really matches well with the blueberries themselves. So were you to use a different fruit, you'd want to find a pairing jelly that works. And this, you don't have to worry about getting it fully covered. It's really just about having that flavor when you dig in and discovering all these new flavors. So we have that layer ready, and we're going to put on another layer of the ricotta and yogurt. And again, this layer you do want to have fully covering the glass. There we go. And now we're going to do more breadcrumbs and the coffee. One thing to keep in mind is if you are serving this to children, make sure to use decaf. You don't want them all running around the pool wild and crazy for the next 15 hours. So now we're using more of the ricotta. And what's nice is this ricotta yogurt mixture is replacing the cream, the heavy creams, and the custards that are usually used in a tiramisu. So it really is a very great replacement option. Next layer, we're doing the bananas. These are just sliced bananas. I think it's really nice to get the overripe ones that are starting to brown because those have the most intense flavor. On top of the bananas, we're going to sprinkle some honey, which again, just adds really nicely to the flavor. I like to use a knife because it gives a nice stream to the honey without going everywhere. There we go. And lastly, to finish it off, we're going to use the instant whipped cream. It has a beautiful design to the top, and you can get it in light, which means it doesn't have all the calories of the heavy whipped cream. Let's just see if I got all the areas. There we go. And again, to just finish that off, let me get that corner. We're going to sprinkle some chocolate chips on top of that. There we go. So we have a very nice parfait dessert. Easy to make, no measuring involved. You can use leftover bread, which is fabulous, and it's great for the barbecue. Something I would recommend is letting this sit in the fridge for a little while so all the flavors can meld and the yogurts can recongeal. But it is absolutely possible to serve immediately as well. Here is another one we did in a glass, which looks a little bit more elegant. So that's another option, or you can do it in a big trifle bowl or baking dish and then serve it as individual pieces. I hope you enjoyed. It was a pleasure showing this to you, and I look forward to the next video. Have a great summer.